What up, peeps? Welcome to the Kisscapades podcast. I'm your host, John Telewa, aka the Kiss Bandit. And in this show, we explore the key elements that shape our fulfilling existence, from health and well-being to financial success, meaningful relationships, and the pursuit of happiness. We cover it all. Our guests include experts, professionals, and everyday individuals who have remarkable stories to tell. Tune in to learn practical tips, gain valuable insights, and discover strategies for personal growth and transformation. Whether you're seeking to improve your health, build your wealth, enhance relationships, or find lasting happiness, we got you covered. Welcome to today's episode. Another amazing episode with a special guest, of course. We haven't seen each other in a while, but we just bumped into each other.
A very long time, actually. I don't even think we actually know how long it's been. Probably a bunch of years.
5, 6?
Yeah.
5, 6, 7?
Look at us. We're so much older now.
You are the OGs now.
We're the OGs.
Because you see a lot of Gen Zs popping on and off like now. But I do respect the work that they're doing as well. Mm. So the last time we bumped or talked, I think you were doing content creation aggressively.
Oh my God, yes.
And then you just
and then I just stopped.
You not just stopping, you just disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just what made what brought the huge transformation?
So what was happening was I was working at a media production company.
Oh, wait.
Yes.
Before we even go to that, need to let you introduce yourself. I'm so sorry, guys.
Okay.
My manners.
Actually, I'm cool. I'm
so
like, this is the vibe. Maybe we start talking.
No. You know what? Introduce yourself first, and then you can answer the question. I'm so sorry, guys.
Okay.
Yeah. Tell the people your name, what you do, and then we can take it over from there.
Okay. So I'm Mitchelle, Jangara, and I'm a content creator. And right now I'm just working as a consultant, a content strategy and content creation consultant. Because I love content, love audiovisual, love to shoot, to take photos, to take videos, to capture life, and put that life out in a beautiful piece of work, like a documentary or reel or anything. As long as it's just a video and it's a story being told, I'm happy about it.
I respect that. Now, I know we'll go back to why you disappeared in this phase of content creation. But first, I'd like to know, do you have a background? Is it something that you actually went to school to study? Or is it something that you're just self-taught when it comes to content?
This is something that is, in large part, self-taught. Because I did go to school and study media and TV production. But I kind of felt like it was mostly theory. Like it was hardly practical, but what I really needed were practical skills.
Yeah.
So I taught myself the practical skills via, obviously, just like almost everybody else, YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube has always been so big for me. And during that time, my mom bought me a computer. The first time she bought me a computer, she literally changed my life because now I started editing. And then through video editing, I realized, oh my God, we could also take photos and pictures and videos on a camera and then put that content on a software on the computer, etc. And then I just kind of really went into it. And it became such a beautiful journey, because honestly, I'm a storyteller. I just love to tell stories. That's really the core. So I already had that. So now having this computer that my mom bought me, having a software in it that I could edit with, allowed me to actually tell a story with my photos, friendship photos. Because I remember my first video was from an ex of mine. My first love. I was so in love.
Tell us about it.
And the editing process was so much fun. Okay, so so there's this, this handsome boy that I really, really liked, was having a great time with, was my first boyfriend actually. So as you can imagine, obviously love was in the air, And then I had my best friend at that time had a camera. Sisi, we are a little older, and so for us, we didn't have phones that take really great
the phones
videos
were not
constantly.
that good.
They were not good at all,
At
actually.
all. No, at all,
Photos
at all.
were pathetic. We never looked like ourselves in any of the pictures we
True,
took.
that's true.
And so she actually had a digital camera at the time. Like her dad bought it for her. So we went out one day just going hiking, and we took so many videos and photos. And when we came back to our school, I was like, oh wow, we have all these photos and videos. What should we do about them? We should probably make like a nice video. But that happened after I had broken up with this ex of mine. So remember, we went for the hike with my ex at that time. So the photos are, love and oh my God, and just having a really great time with this man. And then, now he broke my heart. So after he broke my heart, I found the photos during that time. And that's when I decided, let me make something out of it. I don't remember how I came to that decision. I feel like if you break up with somebody, you should just be mad at them, this and that.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I was like, let me just go through these photos, and I created something. And then made such an awesome video. I was so proud of myself. I forgot the heartache.
Experience, right?
I forgot the heartache because I was having such a great time just video editing these clips.
Yeah.
And then kidogo, I was like, oh, what else are we shooting next,
This
guys?
is something that I'm actually
This is
enjoying.
something I really enjoy. So it definitely was very therapeutic for me during that time. I don't even think my heart hurt as much after that. You know what they say about art?
Yeah. If you can use it to express yourself, I think that's the best way you can go about it, because you forget about so many other things.
So many things. It really just helps your body, your mind. Because I completely even forgave him at that point. Like I was like, I'm good at this. I was like, oh, this video is beautiful.
I have some exes probably still on my Instagram, and at times I'm scrolling down, I'm like, this picture is still here. But now if I reflect back then, I'm like, okay, but still that was a good time. So I can't that's not something you can recreate. It's a good memory.
It's a very good memory. Yeah. It doesn't even matter. Yeah.
So that doesn't even hurt as much as you've said, like even if it's a heartbreak or whatever, it's still something that kind of ticks still in your head. But is that something that from childhood you would say you wanted to get into journalism, or like what was your childhood dream?
I think so, definitely. But I had never really articulated it. I was going through life without really thinking about what I really wanted to be honest. I was just going through life. But I do remember that every time I watched Oprah or Tyra, I had a feeling. I was like, I kind of like this a bit. Ooh, would be nice if I was on the seat, and Oprah is interviewing me or something.
Yeah.
And I kind of knew right off the bat that I want to speak, and I want to be around people, and I want to listen and hear human experiences. I knew that from the beginning. But the actually creating the content part came much, much later. Like the holding of the camera, the editing, all the technical stuff came much later after I got the computer. Then after getting the computer, then I was like, I like this. I could do this.
This is something that I'm actually like,
so it kind of came together because now I can create content for myself. And it's such a beautiful thing to be able to do that for myself, because I actually do like to be in content,
True.
Judging from that first video that I made.
And I think you can see for your ex. Okay, like that I made for my ex.
I was starring.
Okay, I need you to lean towards this side so that we don't miss you on camera. So my whole thing is I think you can also see or say how you've witnessed transformation of how when we were still doing it, because we bumped into each other just in the field when you're doing your content creation. I was also doing my content creation, but you can you can see the evolution.
So hard, consistency. You're like the definition of consistency, my guy. Jeez.
I appreciate that. But people also need to understand my consistency was there because I was like, this has to work.
Yeah.
That was I was like, this has to work. It has to work because I'm trying to think of anything else. I don't want to go to an 8 to 5.
Yeah.
I don't want to be employed by anyone in any form of way. So I was like, you know what? I need to figure this out.
Work. Oh my God.
And my biggest influence, the same way you're saying, you learned your tutorials and a lot of things on YouTube. It's the guys I was following, MK BHD.
Oh my gosh.
You have Creative Ryan, YC Imaging. Who else? A lot of people who post those tutorials for lighting and I could see them doing their thing alone. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, how is this supposed to work in Kenya, man? Of course, you're working for people, they don't want to pay you money.
Tell me about
The
it.
accounts departments are always like locking their doors on you. Anytime they hear it's you coming to like,
send us an invoice. Oh my gosh. Payment will process in a week.
Yeah. But you see, now there's a whole different transformation where like clients are even reaching out to like content creators like directly. It's like, yo, we need you to push this for us or talk about this, review about this. And they're paying you like just as an individual. They approach you and they're like, even without going through agency, they're like, yo, can we pay you X amount and then you just review this? What do you think about that whole transformation from when we used to do like our content?
my gosh.
Should we say like 6 years ago, 7 years ago?
Could even be 10.
It could be because it's been a while.
We grown.
Yeah,
we're all grown.
We're all grown. Let's just put it that way. But what do you think about that transformation and how it's just changed everything?
Oh my goodness! But which part of the transformation?
Like just
though?
the creativity, how like clients how it's easy to deal with clients.
Yeah.
Is it easy now to deal with clients?
Honestly, I'm very happy about it.
Yeah.
I like the fact that there's a gap that has been closed.
Yeah.
So like a while back, it used to be very difficult. Like the only way that you would get a client is if you worked for somebody.
Yeah.
You were under a production company. Most of the times you don't actually enjoy the employment.
Yeah.
This idea of having free time where your day is flexible and you're working for client A from 9 to 11 and then client B from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. It wasn't really there.
Yeah.
But now seeing that now, I'm like, yes, this is how I really was hoping for it to be.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I'm so happy that content creation was what I took a liking to, because I like how the space keeps evolving. It really also keeps you on your toes, eh?
Yeah.
It moves really fast, and
Everything
I love
is
that.
changing,
Yeah, you have
and
to
you
be
adapt.
You have to adapt, and that kind of forces you to keep growing. So you are always constantly growing.
Yeah.
That's why I like this space. I like this space, and then it doesn't look like it'll die soon.
Nah.
However,
It's
you
here
never
to-
know.
Oh yeah.
With AI, I feel like AI might.
Yeah. What do you think about AI and creativity as well?
AI and content creation, I feel like there'll just come a time we'll become desensitized to seeing like very human-like content.
Yeah.
And there'll be, because already you can see them right now when you're, swiping, you'll definitely see some AI-generated videos. So I feel like there's gonna come a time where there's going to be like a lot of AI-generated content online every time you swipe. And then there's going to be just a fatigue of seeing people. I don't know if this is true. Maybe. You never know.
There's an
but
agency.
Hey, I'm not
there's
bad.
an agency abroad that has actually created AI models, and companies are actually finding it easy to use the AI
course they
models
are.
because there's no that
course
haggle
they
of back
are.
and forth. We can use your image for however long without being sued.
I'm telling you the truth.
So
So I kind of feel like with time, perhaps the online information space might become too saturated or too much for people to actually care about.
True.
And we might actually maybe end up doing a 360 where now we want to go back to watching local TV stations because we're like, maybe that's real now.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is just me. Just
AI is scary though if you think about it. Have you seen the one that edits like 4 different camera angles?
I haven't seen that one.
You put like your files on the timeline, right?
It just
and this is like for people who can relate
and it
to.
goes by whoever is talking. So if it's a
Whoever is
podcast
talking,
with
it
like
switches.
4 people, it switches. It knows how to identify who's
Yes.
speaking at what time. So it's editing a 4-person podcast.
Yes. 4
by
different
itself,
camera
4
angles.
different camera angles.
Or even probably 5, because let's say main camera is doing 5,
Oh my
and then
God.
now like 4 different angles for close-ups for
But me,
everyone.
I'm like, I want.
And it's
I want it to
cutting
do
the
that for
edits.
me. I wanted to. I'm like, I feel like I could use AI I'm actually excited about AI, and also nobody really wants to work forever. We just have to reach for financial independence. So if I can get a nice clean 5 years where AI doesn't ruin everything, maybe I can create something enough to take me for the rest of the years when everything goes down to.
Honestly speaking, it's a source that's coming with force. And think about like even how traditional like media houses have been affected now with advertising.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And companies have been cutting down. Even like we talked today, like there's a headline, I'll just show you, but people are cutting down on like a lot of people.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
It's going to force us to be creative and look for more authentic experiences. Actually, what you're going to
True.
what you're going to see, I believe, is more of the natural life, natural things that we love, kind of going back to our roots. It's going to start becoming important.
I think
gradually.
that's why people are connecting to podcasts.
More, yeah.
Yeah, because okay, we've seen TV and everything, but we want to hear personal stories,
and
personal experiences.
And they don't mind watching long podcasts. Because this is real. You know, this is actually how people talk. People don't talk like the super crazy edited cha-cha-cha-cha all the time.
No,
we don't talk like in movies.
Yeah. Like even in news when you're watching and TV shows, people are following like a certain maybe script and everything. Like, we've been prompted to like, okay, start now, stop now.
Okay, we're starting at 5, 4, 3.
No, have you worked in a TV production?
No, luckily, no.
Is that something?
I think I knew right off the bat that I wanted to create like short video content. But because also our time, the internet was pretty strong anyway. You know?
It was still,
YouTube was strong, so I kind of knew that I wanted to create content for all of these other spaces, not necessarily TV. I never even had a liking towards working in TV. I was like, there's no way I'm going to work in... No. It was not even appealing to me.
It's not even a conversation you want to start.
I could not even apply for it. It just did not... it wasn't interesting enough for me. And I'm not a very big TV watcher anyway, so I didn't want it. So never did.
So what
answer that question a bit too passionately.
Okay, like, no. So what experiences have you like done out there, like you'd say work related, maybe if it's personal brands, companies, because you have young people who are also trying to navigate.
I have done weddings, guys. I've done weddings. I did not like it.
I can't do weddings.
I can't. I would never go back to weddings. But at the time I was young, wild and free, and nothing but time, looking for a job where they, even if they're paying me peanuts, I don't even know it's peanuts because I'm just young and so hardworking. So I worked at a wedding company and we used to shoot weddings almost every
weekend, maybe
Saturday,
Sunday,
every single weekend. And then of course now you have the weirdos who have their weddings in the middle of the week, and so it was real grinding, my guys. It was crazy grinding. A whole day at the wedding, you're standing from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. It was the ghetto a bit. Not even a bit. It was really crazy. But it did teach me a lot. I wouldn't lie. Those are the experiences. We were talking backstage. Can I say backstage?
Yeah.
We were talking backstage about these rough experiences that really have made us who we are today.
They shape you.
And this is one of them. Like, me working at that place was really difficult. I had a wonderful boyfriend at that time who I couldn't keep because I was just constantly too busy.
Oh, wow.
All of my relationships suffered, including my relationships with my family, because I'm constantly at the office. I would go home only on the weekends, and sometimes I could even be on my way home, and then I'm called when I am on my way home. We
have something else.
Something has come up. You have to come back to the office. And me, what do I do? I run back into the office and I work. It was really excessive, but it almost became like, what do you call it? Like, it's like you've gone to school. Yeah. In a really short amount of time.
School of hard knocks.
Exactly. It was literally the school of hard knocks. And I'm so happy for that experience because it really, really laid the ground for me on what it means to really put in effort for something, Of course, I wouldn't encourage that. Gen Zs nowadays are like, that's promoting toxic work culture. That's not what I'm doing.
Forget even about that. They post the boss. They post the boss screaming at them. He's being taped and blasted online. I'm like, oh my God. You guys
knew the shit we had to go through. And we would just take it like soldiers, But yes, so of course, not promoting toxic workspaces. I feel like if something doesn't work for you, then that's fine. You can leave. It's all a choice at the end of the day,
But also I think, Gen Z, like what I would say, like maybe about just how they work. Yes, they need to understand, like they have way much better opportunities right now.
100.
The opportunities are crazy. But I don't think they have the backbone for that. Because like you see, everyone is talking about like toxic work environment. I'm like, do you understand what toxic means? Do you understand what toxic means?
And the truth is...
And ask, in fact, even without even just talking about like toxic work environment, ask anyone who has to check in a job at 8 and leave at 5. Just ask them
Yeah.
about that experience. You'll understand why they get home and just sleep. They don't want to do anything
no
else.
time for anything else. Yeah.
And we're not even talking about people who are doing like overtime. You know,
Yeah.
with creative, you know, you'll be told you're leaving the office probably 11 at night because you have to put in like extra hours to finish editing something. We're expecting you to do this. We don't have any other person. Okay, you're the youngest. All those things. You know how it goes. So I don't think they have the backbone.
Yeah,
but the backbone is really important.
It's really important.
In fact, if you come out of a work experience that has a lot of pressure, if you ever go to do like something else on the side, like whether it's a business or work on your personal brand, you'll understand the importance of like putting on those extra hours.
Yep.
Yeah,
100.
you'll understand why.
It'll even be easier for you to put in extra hours for yourself.
Yes.
Because you've done it. You've had practice, literally.
Yeah.
What you're having is practice on how to really grind when it's necessary.
And now you're doing it for yourself.
So now
Can you
your
imagine?
chances of succeeding are crazy. Triple.
Way higher.
Like 10x.
Yeah.
That's why it's important for those experiences. So to answer your question, yes.
Yeah.
I did work at that wedding production company that really shaped me. And then worked at a few other companies after that doing documentary. Actually, documentary film production is really what feeds me, like, if I'm honest.
Nice.
The other clients, like online content, I do have clients for online content. They're not the largest paying. Those ones are, a lot of people who are creating content for social media, etc., they're not getting that much money out of it. The
Not
return,
crazy. It's not that
for
crazy.
a lot of people, the return on investment is not that crazy. Like if I want you to make me reels, it's not like for every reel they post on their Instagram, they get paid 20K, so they're going to give you 10K or something.
Yeah.
So because of that, those are like my lowest paying.
Like that handles utilities and everything.
Yes, the little tiny things, the pretty things a little. But documentary filmmaking really has been such a rewarding space and a beautiful space for me. I enjoy documentaries so much. I love documentaries. I love documentaries, and
so being passionate. I believe you.
So being able to do it and get paid for it is just a wonderful thing for me. So it's just that they are effort. Oh my God, guys! Creating documentaries, by the way, is quite effort. Like there's some people who've done a single documentary for 5 years. They've been doing it for 5 years. Do you know what it means? Do you know the amount of discipline that comes with that?
Consistency
so, of
with
course,
everything.
I'm personally not interested in doing a documentary for 5 years. I do love very short, quick, cool content. So, but I can be part of a huge documentary if they see a spot for me. So.
And what would be, because I can tell that you're very passionate about like documentaries, but if you were to take like one thing that you actually like enjoy a lot doing in production, if like if you're called like in the mornings, like, yo, like, can you do this for us?
Come
Is
do
this what's that one thing that you think you'll just wake up and you'll just be excited about it?
Oh my, literally just sitting down and talking, like, yes, and connecting with other people while at it. That's it. I'm very extroverted. I love being in spaces where I'm meeting new people. I'm talking about stuff. I'm learning new things.
Yeah.
I get energized from being around people. So yes, definitely.
So why not start your own podcast? Since you brought that up.
I'm in the process of starting my own podcast. So I'm really excited about. I'm crazy excited about it.
And I know you mentioned like that, of course, behind the scenes, or we should say backstage again. Eh?
Backstage.
Like where you said like, you're not sure whether it's too saturated, but I'm like, that's the wave right now. People are listening. People are learning from like all those personal experiences.
Yeah.
I think if you have something to say, why not use it as a platform?
Oh my God. Do you know? It's, to give you guys context, I have always wanted to start a podcast for like the longest time, but have been pushing myself on it. I don't know why. Therapy. I don't know why. Like I've just been not doing the thing that I love to do the most. I guess maybe because, you want to pay the bills and etc. and stuff like that. But talking and connecting to people has always been what I've always loved,
Yeah.
And now I'm ready for it. Now I'm like, okay, let's do it. I don't know how it's gonna be. I'm not set up as beautifully as you are over here.
Listen, just baby steps.
Baby steps. The
steps.
problem about being a content creator already
Yeah.
is that because I know so much about creation of content, I really do want to start like at the top. I'm like, oh my God, I want it to look good because this is my area of expertise. But then it's a baby and it's starting out, and I have to be patient and just let it like grow.
I think that's one of the things that maybe slow down like a lot of people. It's not just you.
Really?
Yeah, because now you're hesitant. You're like, every time.
Oh my God, 100.
You're like, okay, maybe until I can get this camera. But by the time you get that camera, there's another camera that Sony or Canon or Nikon is releasing. You know that, right?
Yeah,
so by the time you get to that one, there's another one that's out.
But
if it's
for me,
mics,
I just want two cameras. Just have one. Like it's...
Yeah.
Yeah, but also that's the same problem, yeah.
Yeah, still.
But I really want people to be able to watch me and like see different angles. I know I'm doing that thing. I know I can feel myself
but
doing it.
But you see, that already shows that you're giving yourself already an obstacle.
I am.
Already, even before you start,
my God,
like an obstacle
what am
already.
I doing?
And that's crazy because now I can only imagine like now how much it can also interfere like the whole other part of maybe the creative process. Maybe it's a venue, like, okay, this venue is not good enough for me.
Oh, that's literally my
Now you
struggle.
see. No, you have to.
I'm giving myself so many obstacles because I really want to start at the top and not at the bottom like everybody else.
No, I think that with everything, even the way you're talking about resilience with work and things that you learned even from like just working in a wedding company, I think the process, that's one thing that will make you appreciate even like once you get to like maybe a certain level that you are dreaming of.
Oh my
because
God.
all those small things you learn in the
I took
process
all
of doing it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I swear to God, you're really therapizing me right now. I'm like, I might just leave this space. I change to human being. I might actually just even get home and record on my tiny ass camera.
Yeah, trust me. It's just one of those things. I don't know how I can explain it, but for me now, because I remember even going to like live events and actually recording something similar, like just putting a setup there, like music is blasting, people are passing, waiters.
That, eh?
Yes, and I had mics here and there. And
God.
I'm like, you know what, because now for me I'm looking at it this way. I'm like, okay, if I'm trying to look for a space to shoot, it's really, really hard, right?
It's so hard.
Okay, if anyone gives you a location to use, how much will they charge? They'll tell you like 15 Gs maybe, just for the space. If it's plus gear and everything, it might pay even 35.
Yeah.
That's for one recording. And it can go higher. So now here's the thing. My thought process was like, if I pay 1,500 to go to this event, right? Automatically I have
Simple
a pass.
math. It's a business.
It's quite basic.
Simple math.
1,500 for a ticket. And I can come with my camera. Yeah, I can set up my tripod. Yeah, I can put microphones and everything.
Gosh.
Yeah. So first of all, the venue already is how much? 1,500. Pap, that's done. Okay, around the venue, the food and drinks, right? Anyone that I might pull and just ask them for an interview, they already have a refreshment already like in their hand. So that's not my expense. They've already covered that as well. So So sit down. So if there's anything else going on, if like you have like, those two girls who are serving shots at the event and everything, or somebody's like passing by with small snacks and stuff, you can also engage with them as you're still recording. That's extra, Nini. If there's branding there, automatically there's branding there that you don't even have to ask the company or whatever. So you're like, you know what? Just set up. So 1,500 was my cost for booking this space.
My brain is...
Yeah. And I was doing my interviews. So I was like,
crackling.
I was just like, how is it that people are not doing this? Because this is the easiest way to get away with.
You know what the funniest thing is? I've thought about that. But I always find a reason to make myself not do it. I'm like, it's going to be too noisy. There's really no point in me going to film at an event. It's going to be too noisy. So no. It's going to be stressful. I have thought about the stressful part, like me carrying a tripod and carrying whatever. And then I start to think about, the approaching everybody and talking, and then you start feeling this resistance because now you've come up with a lot of these reasons why you shouldn't
yeah.
And so you're feeling this resistance just boiling inside you. Before you know it, you didn't do it. You will never do it. You ignore it as if it didn't even happen as an idea.
Again, other barriers. Like you just keep putting. But that's why I'm saying, like, for anybody who's thinking about, like, I have to have a perfect.
Like, literally, you've just blown holes into my whole plan.
Imagine.
For starting my podcast. Literally, you've just
gun. My advice would just be like, just go and do it. Because trust me, you'll be so shocked. Because a lot of people also, like, was telling you behind the scenes, a lot of people like, hey, how can you afford this? How can you do this and everything? And I'll just tell you, like, even as much as I don't have like 100K subscribers and stuff, like, just podcasting has changed so much with just my network, things that I can do on the side, like investment plans, how I'm making my money, like even when we're talking about passive income. And I'm just thinking about, like, you know what I'm just trying to think, like, okay, let's say if I had 100,000 subscribers, I think I don't even want to imagine what that means. Because if you have such numbers, you need to understand the power that you have. Because like for me, I'm just at 2,000 subscribers. Okay, downloads probably like 10,000 downloads.
But still, there's quite an impact.
The impact, the network, like the people who've come to the podcast. Like now, if you're flying to a different country, somebody's like, yo, you remember me from my podcast? Can I meet you? Can we do this and this? I saw your episode. Like I saw you interviewed my friend.
That's really what I'm talking about as one of the things that I really want and why I'm starting a podcast.
You have to.
Is because I genuinely want to relate to people. What happened in my life the last couple of years, I had a baby. I have a life partner now.
Yeah.
We live together and we moved a little far away from the city where there's, people, even friends, family, etc. So we moved away. Yeah. And we're just there creating our own life. And then I realized that I was missing the interaction that I love, interacting with other people, especially newer and newer people. For me, it hasn't always been, I just want to be like with my pool of friends. It's always been, I just want to keep meeting new people. So I started to realize that something was itching at me and I couldn't quite point it out. But something was itching. Something was missing. It took me a while to actually realize that I wasn't having as much human interaction as I wished for myself. And so of late, I've been trying to be really a lot more intentional with it. I'm like, I have to attend 2 events in a month. And I'm like, every weekend, if something is happening, I'm going to go for it. If an opportunity crops up for anything, I'm going to show up for it. And gradually, I'm starting to realize that I love that interaction, which is why I want to have that podcast, because I just want to talk to people. It's like my safe space of connecting to people.
You have to. Because imagine, like, even now, if you're ever, like, thinking about, like, even hosting someone or even, like, engaging them on, like, the podcast, like, whether it's phone call or something, it's these events that you go to that you will be inviting or even, like, getting people that you can partner with in so many different ways. And unto you, just bump into someone, you find, like, they're the head of something somewhere.
Yeah.
They're like, yo, by the way, I mean,
you could do this for,
this brand.
Yes, I'm looking for this. Yeah. There's an opportunity you might be able to,
I'll tell you, like, the most craziest things, Yani, and opportunities, like, come so randomly.
Yeah.
That's why I think even for, like, my advice for Gen Z is, like, just understand everybody that you you get to meet could single-handedly be the person who changes your life.
Yeah.
Because I think for my case, let's say I was doing, like, normal reviews, maybe probably back then I was doing, like, reviews here and there, just on my own, just going out, doing reviews before I started the podcast thing. And then I think at the time, there's a lady called Mimsy Slater, shout out to her, because she was, like, doing management or something for Eat Out. I can't remember. Was it managing director or I can't remember her title. But she was like, yo, I've been seeing, like, what you've been posting and everything. And, would you like to give you some brands? You can go out and test them and everything. I was like, what? Just
this
go.
Is a thing?
Yeah. So, I mean, you mean to tell me you can just invite me to go and... She was like, yeah. And first of all, because we know you've been doing this and working with all these other people. We've seen you engaging with other people. Like, yo, apart from even that, like, we can still pay you some cash. I was like, what?
You can do that?
Plus pay me as well?
Oh,
I was like, you know
deal.
what? Yes, I'll take it. And even that now just transformed to so many other different things. We started, like, getting invites for different places.
I love it,
I mean, so just going out as an individual, don't feel like, okay, if I'm not representing a company, I want to be respected, I want to be treated well, or or fear of what might not become, or it might not transpire to something that's big. Going there,
But
putting
also
yourself out there.
There's this attachment people have to big, we have this attachment for success looks big. It has to be a big number of followers, big number of subscribers, big number of comments. It has to be big everything for it to be said to be successful. And really it's not.
It's not.
You'd be surprised how little channels that are micro influencers.
Yes.
You'd be surprised how they live off of their life, like the thing that they love the most, And I just love seeing that and seeing how that's changing. People's minds are like, oh, wait a minute. I just need my tribe. I don't need the whole world to watch me. I don't need the whole of Africa to watch my podcast. Just my people. Just the people who resonate.
You just need a few people and grow with them. Grow with them. And I think that's the whole thing. The journey has to be there for you to appreciate and respect it.
I think
if the journey is not there,
you're not going to see it for what it is.
You won't. You won't. If you posted a video today, you have like 1 million views, okay, and then 1 million subscribers.
Yeah.
Do you know the pressure now you have to maintain?
Oh my God.
1 million views per week.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You know what you have to do to maintain that audience. It's crazy. And I think even we see it even in music. Like there are people who like chuck like one song, it blows up. And then after like 2 or 3 others,
they're not able to handle.
It's too much pressure.
It's too much pressure because you needed to at least have a couple of years of growth.
Yeah.
Yeah, growing is very, very important, my goodness. So that when success gets to you, you can actually handle it.
You will be okay.
You'll be
Because
fine.
it'll just be another day in the office. You just go produce something else. If it's content, you produce, you release.
Oh my
Produce,
God, I love
release.
it.
If it's moving around, you're already used to from let's say the weddings. I'm sure you travel to so many different locations. Whether it's hot, dusty, today it's cold, today it's... So now, you mean to tell me now if you're put in any situation, you're just like, you know what? Yeah.
I can do it.
It can't be like, one day client tells you to come to a place where it's hot, extremely maybe hot or cold, and then you start talking about like toxic work environment. Nah.
Yeah.
No.
We weren't even given water.
What?
We never complained about anything. I wish, wow.
Water is the least. The least of your worries.
Oh my goodness. We just wanted to get the job done. Like we weren't even drinking water because we don't want to pee in the middle of working. You're timing yourself.
Need to be focused.
That, we're getting things done.
What would you say, like maybe it's, of course we won't mention companies or anything, or individuals. Like what would you say was like a humbling or a really bad experience, like just doing production or working for someone, it's like, maybe this is not even for me. I've questioned myself at times just because of working for other people.
Yeah.
But then again, of course, still I found my lane. But
I think for me it was one time I had this boss who I already knew he was very loud, assertive, like really strong presence, like those bosses who have really huge presence, and he was harsh. He was harsh as well. And I remember one time I got to the office late, and he literally made me wash the walls of the office.
What?
Not all of the walls,
but
okay?
still,
not like from the ground up, but there's so you know how a staircase, like on the staircase, usually the wall on the staircase tends to get a little dirty sometimes if you're in a space that has human traffic.
It was punishment.
So it was a little, basically he was punishing me like we were in high school. And so I'm like, oh my, and the funny things that I did, I cleaned it. And then this is like approaching around this time, this was when what do you say, the straw that broke the camel's back happened during this time. I was like, this is not for me anymore. But I wrote a documentary script because we were also doing documentaries. I wrote a documentary script, and I spent all night writing the script. I really loved the story, and I was so into it. It was my first documentary script that I was writing under a production company. I had never done it before, keep in mind. So I didn't really know fully how it's done, but I did my research, man. Like, I didn't sleep. I wrote it. I was so proud of it. And in the morning, I take it to work and I deliver it. I'm really proud of myself at this point. I'm like, even if it's not the best, I'm pretty sure it's like really good because of the amount of effort I put in. And his office was upstairs and I was downstairs. So assuming that this is where I'm working and he's upstairs. And then he literally barks my name. No, actually, there was a phone. Those two phones.
Yeah.
There was a phone. So he calls me I pick it up, and then he barks my name. And he's calling my name out loud. I can hear how loud,
and you can
and I can
still
hear it. I can still hear him from upstairs shouting my name, and I'm like, oh my God, what have I done? And then he just proceeds to really belittle my script and what I had done, and being like, this is rubbish, etc, etc. And I couldn't believe it because I had put in so much effort. I'm like, what do you mean it is rubbish? First of all, it's my first script. I did so much. There's so much content.
There's so much put into this.
I knew that script had a lot put into it. I genuinely know that it did. But I didn't feel like it was necessary. Even if he wasn't happy about it, that really wasn't the way to approach it. So by that time, I was like, I am definitely in the wrong space right now. Because I don't think that I deserve to work that hard and be treated like that.
Yeah.
So yes.
Because even if he approached it in a different way and just told you,
absolutely.
like,
good job. I see the effort.
I see the effort, but we need to change on this, this, and this. At least give me pointers by
Give
day.
me pointers. Show me where, but don't call me and bark my name in front of everybody, the entire office, as if what I've done is embezzle money from your company.
Like even people wondering, like, hey, what is she doing here? But in the first place,
guys are like, oh my God,
you can't be that incompetent.
Be so incompetent.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So that's the worst.
Yeah. That's interesting because I think that's why I'll always go back to Gen Z. You have to understand, like, when you see people in certain positions, maybe people that inspire you or like, you look up to.
They've been through quite.
You have to ask them, just ask them like, was it really easy to get here by the way? Because I know you transformed your life. Who's calling me and I can't even like WhatsApp.
Okay. Just you can pick it up, you'll cut it, right?
No. I can cut this video. No way. This is going
just as it is.
As it is, whatever I need to chop.
Love that.
I'll chop the segments, but I'll call him back. Let me just text him, tell him I'll be back. But I think that's why people need to just ask. Yeah. Like those people who like inspire them, like, okay.
What did they really go through?
What did you go through? How
get what they have?
How did you manage to get in this position, by the way? Was it easy? Was it bad? Are there things that I should prepare for?
Yeah.
And we also talked about like this thing of just, yes, it's good to actually have a dream, be inspired by everything. But you also need to understand, like, okay, if you're chasing this dream, are you putting in the work?
Yeah.
That this
my God.
dream is supposed to reward you equally. You can never
choose to follow your dreams if you know you're not going to work hard on them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, just go get a job.
Go get that 8-5 and you'll be...
and then chase your dreams in the middle of the night, whatever.
The way, when you feel like. When you feel like.
Because if you
think
say,
about
I'm going to follow my dreams, and then you half-ass it, you're finished.
Because I think, just think about someone like, who would I pick as an example? Maybe Omanyala. Okay, like just for him to be like the fastest athlete.
I don't even
breaking
think our
records,
are able to
rewards.
To imagine how much effort that actually is.
You need to understand, like, he did not get there just because.
Yeah.
No. Ask about like your favorite TV presenters, news anchors.
Oh my goodness.
Tell them to tell you their story and everything.
Get where they are.
How much work do they have to put in? Like, let's say maybe from the young cats, maybe that you'd say you see someone like who's young and I can see them pushing content like
there's this Eve.
Mungai Eve. Okay,
she used to upload like a video a day or something.
But that's the thing.
Do you know how much effort it takes to upload a video a day?
Every single day.
Honey, nobody gets to a place of success honestly without effort. That's just what it is.
Impossible.
Yeah.
So anyone you see and you admire with a certain lifestyle, and just ask them or just do research. In fact, if maybe you don't have access to them, but just do your research. 10 years ago, where were they? What were they doing?
You know, when I watched Beyonce's documentary, the one from, is it 2018? It's actually a bit of an older one, but I forget the name.
Yeah.
And the amount of work, like just seeing how much work she puts into what she does makes you understand why she is who she is, you know? And in contrast, there are smaller content creators worldwide from everywhere who create like really engaging reels or just really cool content, and they don't have that many followers, But most people look at them and they think, most people who don't actually understand effort, like work effort, look at them and think they're not doing so much. Like I'll see somebody and be like, or especially if it's somebody local, like let's say if you take the What Jesus family, for instance, who have a vlog and so many things they're doing, I guess, at this point. Yeah. But most people look at them and belittle them constantly. But they are arguably the biggest family vloggers in this country and probably even within East Africa. And if you took your judgmental sunglasses out or whatever and actually saw them for what they are and how much work they're doing, then you're like, oh my gosh, it's work, it's effort.
Switch lives with them.
Switch lives and see. You won't make it. You'll have so much respect.
You who's just seeing one comment online and you start crying.
Yeah.
Then they have a list of like comments just popping up.
And they still wake up in the morning and they keep doing
resilience,
it.
They keep creating.
Consistency, hard work. Yeah.
And we've seen them grow as well. We've seen them grow. We've seen all this transpire to what it is. So anybody in a position, I think it's just a matter of you have to put yourself out there.
You have to put yourself out
there.
You
have to.
Yeah.
You have to.
Let me put myself out there.
You have to, because
I'm ready.
I think it's and life is so funny because I think I used to hear people say that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, by the way, you have to put yourself out there. You have to try and I was like, what are you talking about?
But it wasn't quite sinking. You know how when you hear like, there's some advice that you hear.
Like,
even
what
love
are you talking
yourself.
about?
There's some advice
love
people
yourself
say.
By the
and then you're like, I love myself. You don't actually understand it.
Don't understand
then
what it means.
At certain phases of your life, it really dawns on you what that statement means.
And you'll start seeing life just align according to the effort you put out there, the energy you put out there, the people you attract. Like even just energy-wise, if you're hanging around people who are just like negative, they're putting you down, you're trying to do something, they're like, why are you doing this? These things of cameras, No, but that's the thing. You have to surround yourself. And that's why even like case in point, going even to events and such things, meeting other people who have like the same mindset, they share the same passion, and even
that's
just
why I was
talking.
so excited to come here, actually. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait.
Because if they give you that energy and you're like, wow. So you can only imagine like occasionally if you're getting that boost of creativity, it's like, by the way,
that's why like a lot of creatives have been doing the whole house thing, you know?
Exactly.
16 creatives in a house and we just create content all
and
day
how
long.
much content do they pump out?
So much.
A lot
of content.
A lot. Like
becomes so easy.
Yeah, it's easy. Because now you're in a space where people can actually understand your creative process, thinking why the thing that you do in front of other people, they think it's silly. These guys completely understand because they're going to do the same thing. So they're like, by the way, why don't you try the lighting from this?
And then all of you just grow so much quicker, so much faster.
Much faster. So, you have to respect, and I respect anyone who puts themselves out there.
100%. I have so much respect for that nowadays.
Because it ain't easy.
It's not easy. Now you start to recognize that people actually are working so hard.
Mm-hmm. But the rewards also, like right now, currently, if you look at them, they're way better.
Yeah.
They're better.
They did the work, though, they paid their dues. As everybody has to, like...
Earlier on, when you were starting off, people didn't respect me that much.
Of course, because, people...
You know what I mean?
Human beings are weak. We only like it when people are successful. We only like them when they are successful. I don't know if we can ever switch that thing off. I think it's primal, honestly.
No, true.
It is.
And things like, let's talk about maybe, were your family supportive like in your journey? Because a creative journey, at times... The family can be like, you're supposed to be a doctor,
Imagine
lawyer.
That was never my struggle.
Yeah.
That was never my struggle. My mom, right off the bat, has always been super supportive of everything I do up to date. Like, she's my number one supporter. She's never told me no for anything.
That's good.
I mean, of course, like, she has to instill discipline in me.
Yeah, of course.
But now I'm a grown woman, so...
Yeah.
But she definitely has always supported me. And pushed me to just keep going. You want to do this? Okay, do it. You want to do this? Okay, do it. I never felt like I had to hold back, Yeah.
That's nice. So, like, let's say future-wise, where do you see yourself
Where do I
probably?
see myself in the
Maybe
future?
4 or 5 years. Where would you want to be? Like,
my
whether it's
God.
production-wise,
I would
all those
want
things.
to be. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I would love to be, honestly, traveling the world and creating content and meeting people everywhere and just really seeing cultures and new things and different things and trying out new different things. Like maybe, I don't know, I jump in an iced pool in Antarctica or something crazy
All
like
those
that. Like,
different experiences, yeah.
For me, I just want experience. I love activity and experience in my life. I'm not very, you know how some introverted people like
Yeah.
to just stay home, chill, really a lot of comfort. I like experiences. I like to be able to talk about, oh my God, guys, this one time I did this and then this happened.
Yeah.
I really like experiences. So I seek them out. But of course, in my current space is I just want to do the things that I really love to do, teach or mold those things to be able to provide me the finances that I need to then live this life where I travel, experience things, and just have fun. You know, I just want to have fun in my life. Honestly,
Have you been to Europe?
I have not been to Europe. I have not been to any part of Europe.
But you've been to the States?
I've been to the US.
Okay.
But I haven't been. But now
Europe.
I need Europe,
Listen,
fam. Like
it's just okay. I hadn't traveled that far as well,
Yeah.
but I just paid for a whole Euro trip thing, and I went there for like almost like a month. Germany, Switzerland, Monaco,
oh my
Andorra.
God, Monaco.
You know, so I mean, I understand what you're saying, cause
Yeah.
like even just coming back, I can't say like. Of course, if I start saying those things of like, I came a changed man, people will be like, what the hell are you talking about?
What is this guy talking about?
But just going out there and experiencing different things and then being taught, like even the tour guide is telling you like you're in Monaco, like 1 out of 3 people is a millionaire. But I'm like, what do you mean 1 out of 3 people? But the cars you see, the culture of just people like taking things being laid back, relaxing.
It's so interesting to see something so different from what you normally see.
It changes like also like just how you think and prioritize on things, how you prioritize things. I'm seeing people like just having lunch outside, talking to their friends, putting down like a picnic set and just having a sandwich
life.
and just talk in the middle of the day. I'm like, wait, what? Just in the middle of the day. I'm like, this
is beautiful.
This is beautiful.
To see.
Yeah. And you come back home and like, you know, just start now appreciating even like some of the most little things. You're like, okay. Getting to spend quality time with a friend. People who like just,
the most
encourage you or boost that energy.
Being able to have like flexible time.
Of
late, I felt like my time is very flexible because obviously I'm not working under a company where I have to show up from certain hours, like 9 to 5 or anything like that. I can pretty much organize my day the way that I feel like. And I've just started really appreciating that. I felt like before I wasn't really seeing it. But even in the middle of the day at 1 p.m., if I want to just take my mkeka, my lesso, put it outside and just experience nature and lie down a bit, I can. And I'm just so happy
How fulfilling
to have
is
that.
that?
Oh my God, you have no idea. I love it so much.
Can you trade it for anything?
No, absolutely.
I can't.
Let me tell you something. A friend of mine sent me a DM on Instagram a few days ago, and she was like, "Oh, hey, these guys are hiring." I was like, "Hell no."
Nah.
What do you mean? No, I cannot. I told her, siwezi chukua hiyo job hata na dawa. Even if you give me medicine, I will not. I'm not going to take that job.
It's tricky. Yeah. I think once you've tasted that and you can balance.
Once you've tasted it and you can balance and you can still live, like you can actually eat. So you're not taking out your lesso and lying outside when you don't have any food to eat.
No. That's not what we're encouraging.
That's not what we're talking about. No.
Yeah.
But having a system, creating a system that even as you lie down on your back, what do you call it?
Just unwinding, relaxing.
Unwinding, you're still making money.
That's the best thing that you can do for yourself. And I think also now all these things we're talking about, like even you to be able to be in that space, it requires a lot of discipline because the same things that you're setting up.
It's not a joke.
That's
so interesting.
Discipline.
It needs a lot of discipline. You can't
just
life without discipline.
You don't just wake up in the morning to experience that if there's no discipline.
Yeah.
Discipline, cutthroat, and you also have to understand you'll have to do things a bit differently from what people are used to. If you're working for a company, you have an accounts department, you have HR, You have maybe if it's copywriting, you have
Yeah.
like whatever, what do you say? Like producer, all those things. But if you're alone, you have to understand you're accountable for anything that goes wrong.
Gosh, yes.
And you cannot afford for anything to go wrong. Yeah, I think that's why at times, like even for me, I'm always trying to tell people like there's some specific things I'd want to do them, and they'd have to be a specific way, because there's no HR to call me and to tell me like, you shouldn't have approached this differently. You shouldn't have done this. Like, if things are in shambles or flames, it's all me.
Yeah.
It's all me. And who do we go to cry to? Nobody. So you can't fail yourself.
So, you can't fail yourself. That's the best thing. You cannot fail yourself.
Yeah.
And I really believe that if you make a conscious decision to say that you will not fail yourself, you really won't.
You won't.
You really won't.
You won't.
No matter what, you will still keep going because you know that this has got to work. It's like what you said at the beginning. Once you know that this thing I am doing has to work, it is going to work.
Yeah. That energy comes. You waking up in the morning, even if you're waking up at 8 or 9, the mindset that you have to understand, you have to wake up with a mindset of someone who's not receiving a salary at the end of the month. Yeah. Even for you to keep your coolness, knowing that there's no salary coming.
Yeah.
It means you've already put systems in place and everything for you to be able to do that. Yep. But otherwise, you can't just sleep like a baby sucking down there. Like, this is the peace that people are talking about. No, but are there any people that you can say maybe you've looked up to in the course of like just your journey, or like maybe who inspire you, whether it's men or women in general, who've just inspired like your journey?
To be honest, I'm inspired by so many women. There's this lady called Bozoma St. John. She was, if I'm not wrong, the COO, is it? She worked at Uber. She worked at very many different, very huge corporate spaces. There's another woman called Indra Nooyi, also same. She's an Indian woman. Right now she's much older. She was, I don't know about the titles necessarily, but probably like CEO of PepsiCo or something. But anyway, she's really known to be a very strong, very hardworking, very intelligent women in very strong leadership positions. Actually, the women I'm naming are women in strong leadership positions. I've always loved Oprah as well. Honestly, I feel like a lot of people, because of course the generation is now younger and younger, most people don't actually understand where Oprah came from.
I respect
and
Oprah.
Oh my God, it's really, really beautiful to watch. Like everything was against her. Everything was working against her. Just being this black woman who doesn't even fit in even the black women's idea of what a beautiful woman is. She didn't even fit into that.
True.
But she still had this thing that was so strong in her, and her life experiences and all the things that she's gone through. If you don't know about Oprah that much, just go watch a documentary about her or something. But she's really, really pushed against all odds, and it's very beautiful to watch. So a lot of women in strong leadership positions really encourage me, because I see them just go for what they want, and that's just always so wonderful to watch,
And also you have to understand, like, leadership positions come with a lot of responsibility, because now it's not just about you. The people's families depending on you now.
Yeah.
So even with that, you can't fail.
Yeah.
You still can't fail. Your company can't just come up on Monday. It's like, we're filing for bankruptcy. Half of the staff have to go home. Like, like we said, case in point, like a lot of media companies are sending internal memos. We see some shutting down and everything.
Because,
that leadership position is so important, because
it carries a lot of responsibility.
A lot.
And a lot of decision making. There's there's one time I saw this video about somebody talking about how most people despise managers and CEOs and stuff, assuming that they don't work as hard. So let's say, for instance, if I deliver mail at Safaricom, I deliver mail. I sound old as hell. What do people nowadays do? Like, let's say I'm a janitor at Safaricom.
Yes.
So let's say I'm a janitor at Safaricom, right? So I look at the CEO of Safaricom and I'm like, he comes in at noon. He leaves at like 2 p.m. or he
The
must have
science
it to be
checks,
easy.
approves,
We are really,
CGNE.
we are really the ones who are like really grinding. But the reality is, for a lot of them, they actually hold a huge responsibility on them for every decision that is being made. Maybe not every, but some of the really big,
Quite a
high
lot, yeah.
impact decisions that can make or break
The
a
company,
company. Yeah.
yeah.
So they're usually, it's not an easy position to be just because you are at that big position, like that big leader who has so many people looking down on them, you know.
True.
So many people looking up at them, I guess.
Yeah,
English,
I get what you're saying.
you get it.
Yeah. But, it's... So I think even for just young people, or like maybe just in general, people who are watching, understand like also the role models that you follow or people that inspire you. Just look at the type of work they put in to get in those positions.
Yep.
Yeah, like we're saying,
It's all about that work.
it still comes down to work. Okay,
my
how did they get to those
God.
positions?
That's what it is.
Yeah,
At
like
the end of the day.
just think about it. Like even if it's like, let's
I
say,
must tell you, when I got pregnant, because I have a 2.5-year-old son,
Yeah.
when I got pregnant, I experienced what it's like to be relaxed, to not work so much, etc.
Yeah.
Because I'm pregnant. And with pregnancy comes a lot of
have
like,
to
oh, well,
chill
yeah,
now.
you know, she's pregnant. She needs to relax. She needs, at least in my privileged experience, I will recognize that. But I was able to just really relax through the pregnancy. Gosh, it was so nice. Just lying down all day, every day. This is, you know me, I come from a background of grinding all day,
Grinding,
every
up
day,
and down, up
including
and down, up
Sundays.
and
I
down.
wasn't doing
Yeah.
break. At work-life balance, what? What
Yeah.
is work-life balance?
Yeah.
And so for me, moving from that to this, I was like, oh my God, life, this is so interesting. Of course, that ended with the pregnancy. Because life
Back to
happens.
reality,
Back
back
to
to
reality.
reality,
And
back
now
to-
with the extra responsibility, so get it together.
Yeah.
But it's actually quite difficult once you've started relaxing to kind of get that mojo back on.
Yeah.
To now start moving again, because it was actually hard for me. I was like, I
Have
don't
to
want to
sit
have to
back.
do. Yeah, I'm like, I just want
Sit
to
back.
relax. I don't want to have to. And then I'm like, can I use I just had a baby as an excuse? I don't really want to work that hard. But then life just comes back to me and it's
Yeah.
like, listen, you will relax in another phase of your life. For
Yeah.
now, just work hard still.
And
Show
I think,
up.
and I think as well, if you're like just someone who enjoys like the grind and the process
I
of
do
everything,
enjoy the grind. I'm not
it-
gonna lie. There's a level of
that. Yeah,
yeah.
that thing also like just gives your life meaning, because you have to understand if
Yes,
like
yeah.
if you had everything that you ever wanted, right?
life would kind of be meh.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's why at times now, even I think a lot of people miss that point of like, let's say, I don't want to say rich kids, but people who have everything.
Yeah.
You understand? They have no purpose at all.
Yeah.
Because like, okay, I wake up in the morning, grind for what? This is already there. I already have property. I already have this. I
What
already
am I
have this.
grinding for? I just need
Like
to,
life has no meaning at all. So
unless they find some kind of purpose
now,
for themselves.
exactly. Not even for them, they have to find their purpose.
Yes.
Yes, all these things are there and everything, but I need a reason to wake up in the morning,
and
either if
do,
it's
yeah.
freshen up, work out or whatever, and then do something that will fulfill me as a person.
Because as human beings, that's just how we are programmed to
Yes.
function. We
Yeah.
need something to keep pushing us. We need
True.
a purpose for the day.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we probably will just wilt and die.
You'll lose it. You will lose it. I wouldn't even want to imagine that.
What a boring life.
And I think that's why I respect and even just say like, that grind and the whole process of back and forth, trying to figure something out, failing at this, getting this right.
It's really, that's why they say it's the
It's sweet.
process that's the
sweet.
yummiest part of your
Yeah.
life. Like most people
Yeah.
are like, oh my goodness, when I can afford that Bugatti or that Lamborghini, like you're already thinking of when you are already wealthy, when the
That's already
joy,
done.
when the joy is right
In
now. It's from
between.
now with what you're doing
In
right now
between.
all the way until you get it.
Yeah.
That's
'Cause
the
once
joy.
you get it-
Once you get it,
Yeah.
first of all, about novelty. Human beings are
Yes.
just happy about something new
Yeah.
for only a duration of time,
A
and then
short duration.
and then it's not as much fun anymore.
And I think maybe you can even take an example, let's say, for people who drive. Let's say
Yeah.
before you had a car.
Oh my God.
It was always like, okay,
And then
swear
you
that
get a
day,
car.
I get a car.
It's gonna be so nice.
I'll
I'm
be
gonna love my
driving to
car so
Mombasa,
much.
to Lodwar, and going back to,
And then you
trust
get
me.
a car. You drive it. Yeah, you're kind of happy the first couple of weeks after that.
Yeah.
Now it's so normal. Do you know the other
Yeah.
day, honestly, human beings. So I have a car now, but before I did not, right?
Yeah.
And before I had to get a matatu. So you get a matatu. And most of the time, like I was living with my mom, and my mom doesn't live next to roads, not next to main roads. It has to be. So that means I have to get off the matatu, and then I got to walk for like a good amount of time.
Take a good walk.
Good walk. Stay lean. So that's what I used to do. And then now when I got a car, I was so happy because I don't have to like walk for long distances anymore.
Yeah.
I just get to the house. What a great feeling.
Yeah.
And then after a while, now I'm like, when I get home, I'm like, the part that I'm stressed about is getting out of the car into the house.
Yeah.
After a long day, like in the car, you're like, then you're thinking, oh my God, if I could just snap my fingers and be in the house. And then sometimes I think to myself, now that's your problem, Michelle, getting from the car to the house.
Oh, how do I park it properly here?
How do I hate parking?
Yes.
Now your conversation is like, I hate parking.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Or, oh my goodness, I have to open the gate. But before, that's literally what you really wanted. So human beings, yes, you
Trust
get it,
me,
but the feeling doesn't last for very long.
That thing that you think that you're just chasing.
You're going to be happy when you get it.
Nah. You have to find like, and that's why I think it's important to just find like a better purpose in life and not like material is good, but you also have to understand like, okay, and then what?
Deeper, more meaning, more fulfilling, because material things, yes. But they keep bombarding us with images of materialism.
I think social media.
We've completely bought into it.
Has social media ever gotten to you to a point where you're like, and then you have to snap back to reality?
Oh my goodness,
like,
I have to take constant breaks from social media. It's too much. I don't really care about everybody. Like, I don't want to know what everybody's up to.
Yeah.
It's too much for me sometimes. I get overly stimulated by it. It's too much. And then, of course, it'll give you pressure. Now you feel like everybody else is doing things up and about, making things happen, So social media gets to me actually very often.
Yeah, I'm just chilling. People are signing deals, who doing what, flying in and out.
And then I'm tired. Also, I'm like, I didn't really need to know all those things. I'm happy for you. Like, if I meet you, you can tell me about all the things that you've been doing. Yeah. And I can just be, wow,
still
this is
be
marvelous.
Happy. Yeah.
I'll be happy for you, but I don't have to, like, be bombarded by your daily life. But anyway, I say that, but I post my daily life too. I want to bombard other people with my daily life. But I do like to take breaks because I think social media has the power to really distort your reality properly and really make you think that life is something that it is not. And not just social media. It's literally everything from music to movies as well. Music can also make you think that life is...
What you feed yourself.
What you feed yourself. You have to be really, really careful. Like... You have to be careful. Even memes. Honestly, I know memes are funny and we love watching these short clips of funny things. Yeah. And as we should, we do deserve that laugh at the end of the day. But you have to be really, really super careful because your attention span is actually, let me tell you guys, just people who, if there's the people who still watch 2-hour-long videos, power to you. But
so
people nowadays on YouTube don't go and watch a whole hour and a half or 2 hours.
Hard.
Attention span is seriously going down. And it's actually quite a big deal because it actually means that people will not even be patient enough to read books. You understand? They will not even be patient enough to complete projects. So it's something that is... seeping into your life.
And
so you have to really focus on your attention span. Yes,
everything else
it's
that
a real thing, guys. You gotta be careful. Like when you're swiping up and down, and you gotta know that something is happening to your brain. And the way that we were programmed to function wasn't to handle that amount of information in the way that it is packaged.
At the same time now, it's so much.
Of course, it's going to have an impact on your brain. If you're sitting there thinking like, I'm still the same person I was before I interacted with social media, you're lying to yourself because you have changed. Social media has changed you. It has changed your brain patterns. It has changed how you think and the things that you perceive. So guys have to be, like, you have to take breaks. It has to be, it has to happen. If you don't take breaks, you're finished.
And I think that's why we're talking about, like, maybe people who come from a different era, they have a very different way on how they perceive life. But now, unfortunately, also for, like, let's say the new generation, it's a blessing and a curse at the same time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of information, but also, like, a distorted kind of reality. And that's why I think that's the only thing
TikTok,
that makes people, like, depressed because you're thinking... life is supposed to just work out like that because you believe it. And
also because that's the content you're being fed
you're
from
being
wherever
fed.
You're watching. And then whoever you're watching, is not even in this country.
Yeah.
Their life dynamics are completely different from yours.
Different.
And you're picking up advice from them like, she said not to do this, not to do that.
Yeah, because I think, perfect example, even when you say that, like somebody would say like, no, but Kim Kardashian, how she says, I'm like, you do
Kim
understand,
Kardashian.
you've
Do
just
understand.
compared yourself to
To
someone
Kim
who's worth
Kardashian.
billions
Exactly.
of dollars.
And somebody
Combined
who's in a
with
very
like a
different
baby
country.
daddy who's like Kanye West, also worth how much? The sisters.
And then you think because Kim K got it, it'll be the same for you.
No, you're forgetting like even like their dad was a big lawyer who was representing like a lot of big, like
100%.
you've lost touch of reality like completely. So just two small things like those, like you have to understand like, okay, where are you growing from? Which country?
Introspection. That's why people,
True.
I don't understand how anybody can live without doing some level of self-introspection. That means you're living a whole life. You'll wake up when you're 70 and being like, and you're like snapping out of it.
Yeah.
And you're thinking to yourself, what have I been doing my whole life? Because you're being a puppet. And the worst thing about being a puppet is that you actually don't know that you're a puppet. So most people still are acting like they are not puppets.
True.
But to be sure that you are not a puppet, you have to spend a lot of time by yourself.
Yeah.
And by yourself does not mean on the phone by yourself, like because I'm sitting in a room by myself or watching a movie. No, it means zero distraction. It means you. What do you have to say? What does your soul have to say? What are your thinking patterns? That's why meditation is also a big deal. Like these things are so important, but they're the things that people don't do.
Put everything away and just, what do you do to relax personally? Because I jog during like say 10 a.m., 11 a.m. That's when I go out and jog, or even midday.
I love dancing. I love dancing. Dancing is like my funnest time. But to wind down, so I love winding down in the evenings. Almost every single evening, actually. Almost every single evening, past 8 p.m., I'll just wind, relax, forget about everything, work everything. By that time, my son is asleep, so the house is quiet. Nobody's bothering me. Now everything is just relaxed. I probably will just take a shower. I'll just hang out by myself. I'll just do me things.
Relax.
I'll just relax, I'll listen to something if I want to listen to something. Oh, there's a time I even listened to rain sounds and thunderstorms. It wasn't raining, but it just felt nice to listen to that. Yeah, just putting it in and then just listening to it. And then you're just doing normal stuff. Like you're just looking at your nails. Like you're just hanging out by yourself. Like we used to when we were babies, like when we were children and you were bored. You
could even just look outside the mirror and just see the rain.
Exactly. Yep. Those are the things that I love to do. And I realized almost by accident that I started to get epiphanies a lot. I started to realize, wait, why am I doing this thing that I don't like?
Yeah.
Wait, how come I'm not doing this thing that I like? It's in those moments of quiet and winding down and hanging out by myself that I started to meet myself.
True.
I'm like, I really enjoy this. How come I don't do it anymore? Like the dancing thing, I had stopped completely. And let me tell you my dancing background.
Yeah.
I was attending almost every competition on TV.
Oh, really?
For dancing, yes. Like, there's a dance competition. Can you dance? Or whatever. All these things, I was showing up to them. I almost made it to one. I was like, how if they have to pick only 3 people, you're the 4th?
Yeah.
So I was like, my team was like the 4th. We were dancing on TV, yay. Thank God guys can't find that footage now because it was such a long time ago. The internet was up. But that was something that I loved so much. And when I went to high school, was it high school? Yeah, I was break dancing in high school in front of the whole school. And the same thing in campus. I also danced once in front of everybody, like in campus. Campus is huge. Yeah. Like this is a campus.
Yeah.
So that was something that I genuinely loved, but I completely stopped doing it for years. I was almost out of touch with the fact that this is something that I enjoy to do. So I stopped doing it. So in those moments when I'm by myself, I'm like, I'm just by myself. What should I do? I started realizing I actually like to move and like to dance. And then now I'm like, okay, if I love it, I'm doing it every single day if I can.
That's good.
Or at the very least 3 to 5 times a week.
That's good.
So that's what I do for fun. Like, I just love dancing. And then for wind down, it's just the evenings winding down, allowing myself to catch up with myself. And that really helps me. So, yeah.
I mean, that's
Yours
good.
is?
Mine is just
The
jogging. If I do my jog by the
I've never liked jogging. Oh my
it
God.
feels, everyone
I
says
feel
it
like
feels
I'm
like
dying. I'm like,
punishment.
why?
It's not punishment. But you see, especially like now, midday sun, it's hot like that. That's when
Don't tell me you run in the midday sun.
Yes. Like the sun has to be out. Like once the sun is out, it's like
What
now
are you
you see me
looking
like
for? Death?
no. But my body is already conditioned. So
I
now it's
see.
like, but once I just do that jog, first of all, like nobody's always on the, it's like there are no school buses, there are no people on the
Yeah,
road.
you're right.
Like even
It's a
the
good
people in the
time.
shops and no. It's like just you. And a few other people maybe you'll find like maybe, okay, hiding under the tree. They want the sun, but they're like, hey, it's too much. But once like I do like my 7 kms because I have like a route like just,
What?
yeah, but just around Huru Gardens, safe
Alright,
place to
okay.
walk. They have like a jogging path, and because I'll jog halfway and I'll walk, jog, walk.
How did you even get into the? How did you even realize that you enjoy jogging?
That I started during COVID.
I see.
Yeah, because like we had to like
Yeah,
just
find
keep our
some-
bodies
yeah.
active for the
Then you're like, I
shortest
kinda like
duration.
this.
I was like, you know what, this is
I could
actually
do this.
very good, and it just became something that I enjoy. It's actually very.
I love it.
I love it. I can't take a shower and then I'm good to tackle the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, like today now I haven't gone, but I'm just like, no, what? Once maybe I'm done with the last episode,
Okay.
I still could, but it won't be as hot as I want it to be. So I'll just push it to tomorrow.
Tomorrow. I love that.
Yeah,
What
but
is-
so I think we've done like almost 1 hour and something.
Okay.
But I do want to like just save the rest for like part 2. We can always do like a follow-up when you're
Yeah.
free.
Sure.
Let's say probably January when you're doing like your New Year's
When my
resolutions.
actually, do you know
Yeah.
this podcast is going to be out this month? Like, I'm so serious about
you
it.
sure?
Because I've made the decision,
Yeah,
not even this month, honestly, this week.
you better.
Because I've made the decision and it's
Yeah.
time for me to like not
Just
wait
do
too
it.
long to make decisions.
Yeah.
There's a video, sorry, I'm going on a tangent, but
No,
there's
no,
this
it's
video
good,
that
yeah.
I watched about how to become more decisive. So people don't actually realize how much time we waste making decisions. You waste so much time, so much energy, which then translates to money and any other thing that is valuable
Yeah.
just because you're taking so long to make decisions.
Hesitant.
Am I gonna go? Am I gonna do this? Am I gonna? And the amount of mental energy you're expending. So anyway, his philosophy was just make the decision. You
Yeah.
don't really know which is right, which is wrong, even if you
Decide.
don't know. But just
Pick.
decide one
Pick
thing.
something.
That once you've decided on that one thing, then it's gonna be really easy for you to find out if that was what you wanted or the other one was what you preferred. So I was like, you know what? I'm done like taking forever making decisions. So I wanted to do a podcast forever.
Do
Everybody who I've told in the past have said, Michelle, you said you were gonna do this, but now I'm like, God damn it, I'm gonna do it now.
Do it.
Like so I'm excited and afraid.
Like we said, like just the best part about it's like you have a background like in production and stuff.
Exactly. That's why
So-
I feel so confident also because of that.
Yeah.
And because I'm a full house by myself, it's up to me.
Yeah.
It is scary to know that it is entirely up to me, which then means that I don't have anybody to blame. You
Yo,
understand?
listen,
I have
it's
nobody
crazy.
to blame. Yeah, I can't say, oh, Joy, you didn't do this and this for
No.
me. That's why my whole thing came tumbling down. It's all up to me. So I'm experiencing both extremes because it's
Yeah.
up to me. I know that it can happen. Like it's going to happen because of me and because of what I have. But also because of me, I'm like, I have to be sober enough to understand that it is on me as a responsibility and something that
You're
I have
betting
to
on
give my
yourself.
best.
You
And
have to bet
it's
on yourself.
myself.
Yeah. And I think that's why, like, even for me, like, let's say I do get like messages when people asking me, like, we'd want like maybe, have you ever thought of working with like a team or anything? But I'm like, you have to understand, like, even now, whatever it is that people are going through out there, but if one person decides they're not coming today and that's the sound person, and you don't know how to do anything to do with
the
sound,
worst thing?
if you don't even know how to just change the f-stops on your camera and the camera guy does not show up on set,
Can you,
You know how
imagine
in
giving
shambles-
people that much power?
no.
That
No.
if they don't show up, you are screwed.
Yeah.
I hate that feeling.
It's not even just scary, but it's like the saddest situation you
Yeah.
can put yourself into. Because now you're looking for somebody to blame. Okay, maybe even if they've moved on to a different situation, they're like, yo, I don't like shooting for this guy anymore. They bounce. And then now, who are you
Hey.
where do you start from? That's why I'm saying,
Yeah.
like, I think even for me, like just going through like the grinding, doing all those two things, different experiences working for people, like you'd say like, maybe today in a wedding, you ask like, yo, try do the sound, try do the lighting, try do the, all those things. Once you learn all of them, when you're somewhere when you're supposed to do something for yourself, you know
You
how
can
at
do it.
ease you are.
Oh.
Not looking at sound settings,
You're
you're like,
panicking,
oh
you're
my
calling.
God.
Hello. Do you know somebody
You're
who
on
can?
YouTube.
Hello.
No,
Oh my
no.
God.
No.
Do you know that feeling of watching a tutorial under pressure? It's the worst. You're just like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do?
How?
And you can't even listen because you're hoping that they would speak faster
Yeah.
because you're running out of time and you need to know how to. No, who wants that stress?
And that's now the production. Now, like there's now the editing.
Oh
if
my
you have,
gosh,
if you don't,
yeah. If you don't have, that's a
know how
lot
much
of
it would
people.
cost.
Actually, a lot of people get stuck at the editing.
Yeah.
phase. I've seen so many people with
Crazy.
a passion for content
Yeah.
that get stuck at
Yeah.
that stage, and I feel for them. I'm like, but sometimes you just have to teach yourself these things.
You
have
have
to
to.
teach yourself
if it's something that you want to
that
get
you
into,
really want.
yeah,
Just bite the bullet.
Yeah.
It'll be not so much fun the first 3 days, but after
Yeah.
that, it's going to be upward trajectory.
it's going to be so much
gonna be
easy
so much
because if you
easier.
have an editor on the side, you can always use them, of course. But now, when you find yourself in a situation where you need to do the cuts because they're not around, you can still
You
do
can still
that.
do it.
So I think just being all rounded, if you're a content
Yeah.
creator, makes it easy, and also you cut on cost as you grow. Because now, if something is like
Which is exactly
too
what- yeah.
expensive, I see a lot of people. Case in point, they start a podcast or production
They're
for
not
something.
able to sustain it.
You can't sustain it if it's too expensive. If you have like 2 camera guys, 2 editors, 1 lighting person, that's like 5 people need to be paid
Oh my
consistently.
gosh. And managed. Don't
And
forget.
ooh. Okay, in fact, I had forgotten the most important part.
Trust me.
It's like, honestly, like for me, I know in person, I just find it so hard in managing people. Because if I know this is the thing that you're supposed to do and you don't do it, I feel like
Story
almost,
of my life.
I feel like someone has backstabbed me because I'm like, okay, how is it even
Story
possible?
of my life.
Yo, because you're like, you had like just one task to do.
Yeah, and it wasn't so much.
And I'm relying on you. You understand? I'm
Yeah.
relying on you to deliver this. So if you don't, like, it feels like, I don't even know how to describe
It's
that.
freaking
feeling.
heartbreak.
It feels like a heartbreak,
constant heartbreak.
betrayal.
And then
it
you
might
get
seem
you
like
end
it's
up being
something.
jaded after a
course.
while. Now you're afraid they're gonna give you more heartbreaks whenever you hire somebody
Of
new. You're like,
course.
they're gonna give you another heartbreak.
Of
What
course.
heartbreak is it gonna be? It's
Yeah.
really quite something.
It's crazy, and I think that's why, like, even I just set up the studio. Yes, somebody can come and help and everything, but if they don't, I can still be
You
able
can
to
still-
function. But
no, honestly, I love that so much. Like that's literally what I want, to be honest.
like, what? Let's work
Just
towards
make,
it
just
then.
make things easier because I also have a really hard time just relying on people.
And you
It's-
can't. You see, you're putting yourself in a position where you're blaming maybe somebody who doesn't share
Yeah.
the same passion as you.
absolutely.
You have a
They
goal.
are not as driven. So
Yeah.
it's really your responsibility, and
True.
you have to take full on accountability
Yeah.
for how you want it to run as your dream.
Managing people. So in fact, in companies, now I respect people who, like, their job is just to go around, follow people, and
Oh yeah,
I could
right.
never.
The people that I don't want to say I don't want to cuss on your podcast. I don't
you
know.
can if you
I can.
want,
But
yeah.
you know how people, the bitch, like people are usually
Yes.
like, oh, she's so bitchy because she's the one who follows everybody, like in a big office space. She's the one who follows everybody and makes
Yeah.
sure everybody has done their job. Oh, she's so bitchy. She's, people would just even call those people names, but those people have to be tough like that. You understand?
Because, if you
they
understand,
do have to be like that, because if they're not,
if you
they're
let
laughing with you.
adults do whatever they want in a work environment,
Ah.
ooh,
They
they'll
will
close the
show
company.
you.
The company
Yeah.
will close.
Yep.
It's definitely gonna shut down.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, like, even you have to understand, like, when a company goes down and you start, like, going back, it's like, okay, Nani, why didn't Nani
Yeah.
notice this? Somebody was embezzling funds here.
Oh god.
Why didn't somebody slack when these ideas are not the ideas that we wanted out? Why did they approve? All those things you have to understand now. If you're doing it on a smaller scale, you're responsible for all of those things. So even if it's just 5 people that you have to manage, everybody has to do their job, because if they don't,
Oh yeah.
everybody else's
And
effort
and
becomes almost zero.
Yep. And you're not all carrying the same amount of risk. You are
Yeah.
carrying the biggest risk.
If you're the investor,
you're
everything.
the investor,
You
you're
see,
everything.
The concept, the idea, and everything. If people are coming in, understand. Like also now it's your finances.
Oh my goodness.
So
It's
that would
crazy.
just be heartbreak. But I think I also learned this from like a friend of mine because she runs a restaurant and she was always telling me like, they would train somebody acquires the skills and then they run over, they just run away and then go to the next person or something of the sort. And then I was just like, I don't know how you can manage to handle that because I don't know, because that just seems like too much betrayal and I don't know if I'm supposed to. But she was like, but you have to move on. You just pick the next person. Just be prepared, of course. In case this happens, just have like a replacement or something. But that's common, even just in companies. And also, I think I also understand now, like even in companies, how people like at times they have to fire people.
Yeah.
It's not easy,
Yeah.
but let's say we're not making enough money as a company. And the only way the company can survive, it's either we fire people or we close down.
Fine.
So which choice would be first?
Of course you're gonna fire people.
We have to downscale a bit.
Yeah.
We have to downscale a bit to survive and try and recoup again.
Oh my gosh.
But you also have just to be ready for such situations, especially if you're planning to be like an entrepreneur. That's just something that you should be prepared
Yeah.
for. Yeah, you'd wake up one day, your workers are with placards out there, like demonstrating.
Pay us more.
Or they put you on blogs, like you're not paying.
And you're not trending video on TikTok.
So you see, all those things you have to understand and put into account if you're like an entrepreneur, business person, or somebody who's running solo or small scale with people. Managing people has to be like the hardest. But understand the end goal that you have.
Yeah.
Look at you
Honestly,
like-
yeah, it does. It's quite tiring. I even told myself that I probably need to take a course on it, people management course.
Yeah.
I learn a few things here and there, but if I could, I definitely would just love for everything to run on it, like to just have systems in place that allow things to run, so that I don't have to be dependent on anybody. And so I like what I see thus far. Yeah. For sure.
I respect that. So now if you had like, okay, let's just wind up because I want to save the juicy and other things like also
Juicy.
for like part 2.
Uh-huh.
But what advice would you have like just for maybe younger people in general or even just people who want to be in a freelance space, consultancy space or content creation space on just how they can maneuver lives as just like entrepreneurs, like through your experience and just expertise, like what would you...
I would say, honestly, just put your head down and work. At the end of the day, you have to be sober-minded when you're making some decisions. You have to realize, like, on this earth, a lot of people are working really, really hard. So whatever it is that you want to do, recognize what it is, and then actually look at the market. Like, you don't make decisions based purely on emotions and feelings, or I think that people will actually do some research on what you want to pursue and then actually look at what people are doing in that space. And what the people are doing, do 10 times that. And if you can't 10 times, it's fine. At least do double that, the most minimal. So if whatever it is that you want to do, because you have to, if you want to at least increase your chances of succeeding, it's some other people who've done it before can act as a benchmark. They can act as a case study for how much work you need to do. So go out and do research and find out how much work you have to put so that when you're getting into it with a sober mind and you are ready to attack. Because do you know something that is very crippling is usually when you go into something but you're too optimistic and you're not really aware of how much you actually will need to put in.
Yeah.
And so you start out something and then you realize, oh my God, it's harder than I thought it was going to be.
Yep.
Then you abandon it. Then you go to something else. It's harder than I thought it was going to be. It's not even what I thought it was. So just be ready from the get-go that something is going to require more effort than you think it's going to take. Human beings in general are not the best at estimating how much effort things need. So always know that you're underestimating. If you think that it's going to be difficult to do ABCD, it's going to be 2 times more difficult than you think it's going to be. So then get into it being mentally ready.
Just be
That's it. For the young people, that's all I would say. Like, guys, be sober and make decisions. If you're gonna make big life decisions, actually make them sober. Like sober, like no influence, so that you know what the heck you're doing, guys.
Yeah. You know exactly what you're getting into.
Don't just sit down and just do vibes all the time. We're just vibing vibes. We're making decisions purely on vibes. No, get smart.
Reality will slap you in the
Get
face
smart.
very hard.
Get smart. Yeah.
Okay, so now tell the people where they can find you on your social platforms or anything else that you have going on. We can just plug it in the podcast as we finish up.
All right. You guys can find me on Instagram, Mitchelle Jangara. Mitchelle is spelled with a T, so it's MITCHELLE. You can find me on Instagram. And you can find me on TikTok on the same name as well. However, my new podcast is called Selfish, the Selfish Podcast. And you will soon be seeing that. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll definitely see me upload links, etc. And yeah, guys, share this journey with me. Go on this journey with me. Let's see if I actually live up to what I've been talking about.
You will.
I definitely will. I'm so ready.
Because now you have to back it up after saying it in the podcast.
But also, I'm so positive. I'm so ready. I know I will.
I respect that. But thank you so much for coming through.
Of course, my pleasure.
And of course, I can't wait to do a part 2.
I can't wait either. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. The Kisscapades podcast is your gateway to holistic growth and personal transformation. Together we'll unlock the secrets to living a life of health, wealth, love, and happiness. So make sure to tune in every week and join us as we explore the essence of what it means to truly thrive. And lastly, show us some love and support in our social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, basically all the social media platforms that support podcasting will definitely be there. Even with the short clips and reels, you can find us there. And lastly, don't be shy with feedback, suggestions, or any questions that you might have in regards to the episodes or our podcast. It's the Kisscapades Podcast. Goodbye.